So hi, this is Group 3 and we are the third reporter. So we will be discussing the lesson 3 of this subject, training and development. So our topic is all about training and development methods. Okay, so for our first topic, I will be discussing the traditional training methods. So we have three broad categories in traditional training methods. We have presentation methods, hands-on methods, and group building methods. But before we go to our main topic, let's take a look at this figure first. This is what you call a learning system. So what is a learning system? So a learning system is basically a set of resources that are put together or combined together in an adequate way to create an environment that facilitates various types of learning processes. Learning system typically includes instructions of how to use various sorts of learning resources to achieve a specific learning goals. So this learning system demonstrates how employees' learning differs based on what type of training methods influence them. Okay, so on the right side, we have the guided and social competency development methods, which is under the competency-based learning. On the left side, we have the guided and social contextual learning, which is under the context-based learning. On the upper part, we have the guided competency development and guided contextual learning, which is created and guided by the company. And lastly, in the lower part, we have the social competency development and social contextual learning, which is created and guided by the users. So what are these four quadrants? So let's get through it one by one. So guided competency development. So it is a formal and systematic method of training employees inside the company. And it indicates that the company has already identified a broad range of abilities or skills for the positions. So the training programs developed in this competency development are more essential and basic that are used to aid the employee in learning the basic skills they needed when it comes to completing their task. On the other hand, when we say social competency development, it improves specific job related competencies through connections with others, such as mentor or coach, so or through engagement to seeking professional experiences. This isn't designed to help employees succeed in their jobs, but this is designed to help employees prepare for future job or positions within the company. For our next quadrant, which is the guided contextual learning. So a functionalist concept of teaching and learning underlies this contextual learning. So employee internships, service learning, and studying abroad programs are examples of guided contextual learning activities for the employees. So this is more on individuality. So the improvement of employees on their own. Lastly, we have the social contextual learning. So this is more informal and peer-to-peer. So as part of their learning activities under this contextual learning, employees collaborate with one another. So one-on-one or in groups or in teams. So this is actually made to build relationships. These may include team buildings, volunteering, etc. Okay, so now let's move on to our main topic. So the traditional training methods. So the first category in the traditional training methods is the presentation methods. So this training method basically means you are presenting something to the employees through lectures or audiovisual techniques. So your goal in presentation methods is to captivate your audience or the employees and persuade them to pay attention and take action in response to what you are saying. So there are actually two types of presentation methods. We have the lectures and the audio visual techniques. So let's discuss them. So yeah. So lecture. So I bet we are all familiar with lecture. So lecture allows a large amount of information to be presented to a large number of people in a fixed time frame. So it is the most straightforward way of training methods for the trainers, and it actually does not necessitate any special arrangement, and it provides employees with listening skills training. So it also allows for a better understanding of the issues and a greater emphasis on important ideas that an employee needs to know. However, there are actually downsides associated with the lecture method. It is frequently lacks participant participation, feedback, and a meaningful relationship to the workplace. Aside from that, lecture also make it more difficult for the trainer to assess the level of understanding of the employees quickly and efficiently. So, to address these conflicts, lectures are frequently augmented or associated with questions and answer sessions. So, for example, after a lecture, there are a question and answer from the trainers. So, it is also associated with group discussions, videos, games, case studies, or simulations. So, the next type of presentation method is the audiovisual techniques. So, audiovisual techniques refers uh, to the use of various instruments by the trainers to instruct personnel, such as visual aids, audio aids, overheads, slides, and videos. So one of the most used mediums of audiovisual technique is video. So here, video. So video is one that is made with the intention of teaching skill or information. So most of the time, the trainers simply put a video that demonstrates how to do something and let the employee or the trainee follows it. So this actually helps them to improve the employee's communication and customer service abilities because they are forced to comprehend the instructions and follow from the video. Okay, so for the next category of traditional training methods, we have hands-on methods. So these training methods is very ideal because it allows employees to not only participate or not only acquire new abilities, but also use, practice, and put them in a field setting for experience. So employees take an active role in their learning rather than passively listening to a presentation that they will possibly forget soon. So it has several types. So hands-on methods has several types, which consist of on-the-job training, simulations, case studies, business games, role-playing, and behavior modeling. So let's go through it one by one. So on-the-job training. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with this. So OJT, or on-the-job training, refers to training that takes place while a person is completing tasks or duties that are relevant to their job. So, under the supervision of a manager or mentor, the employee often perform duties that are important and relevant to their job position. So, OJT actually comes from various forms, which involves apprenticeships and self-directed learning. So, what are these two forms of on-the-job training? So apprenticeship, when we say apprenticeship, it is a combination of on-the-job training and classroom instruction. And it is also, it let workers earn while gaining the skills required to execute their specialized job. So basically, employees learn about their jobs in a classroom, and then they have to put the knowledge they get while learning in the classroom into practice and make it actual in some workshops. So that is apprenticeships. Now, when we say self-directed learning, it is a type of learning in which the learner directs the conceptualization, the design, execution, and evaluation of a learning project. So, to put it more simply, SDL, or the self-directed learning, is transferring responsibility for learning from the trainer to the employee, allowing the employee to make all the training decisions. Say, for example, your boss asks you to plan a meeting, but that doesn't mean that you are just planning it as is. You are also going to plan how the participant will get to the meeting, when they should arrive, and what they should do once they arrive. Hence, instead of being told what to do, you are taught how to comprehend the mechanics of task by deciding what you want to learn, how do you want to learn it, and why you should learn it. So that is self-directed learning. So for the next type of training methods, we have simulations. So simulation is the development of a realistic learning environment that reflects the real world tasks and events. So the trainee or the employee is taught how to execute and perform certain tasks or activities in various realistic conditions during simulation-based training, so that they will be prepared in case some circumstances happen in the future. For example, they will be given a real-life scenario, task, or challenges that may possibly arise in the job and may trigger their decision-making ability. And after that, they will be evaluated on how will they behave when they encounter that type of scenario. So this is effective because trainees should apply practical knowledge and skills, not merely by reading theory books or listening to lectures, but also by engaging in physical hands-on activities. Yeah, hands-on activities. So basically, they will learn how to respond to it through simulations. So yeah, that's the simulation. So next training methods we have is case studies. So we have been dealing with case studies from our other subject for a week or a month now. So I bet we are all familiar with this. So it is an approach in which trainees are presented with descriptive circumstances that encourage them to make decisions. So the goal or the purpose of case study is to get the employees to use what they've learned and come up with innovative ways to handle a situation or solve an issue. So it can be used to help employees improve their decision-making skills, the team spirit, communication, and interpersonal skills and analytical skills. So that is case study. Next, we have business games. So a business game is an interactive, structured training activity with the purpose built conditions that are intended to replicate those of a successful corporate working situation. And uh, because a firm must remain competitive and business games are frequently competitive in nature, they use this in training or they implement this in training so that the training becomes more challenging and enjoyable. And it may also help employees in developing skills to improve their individual and team performance in the workplace. So for the next types of hands-on method, we have role plays. So role plays are done by practicing or mimicking real-world working situation. So an employee might take the role or task of a job. So the goal of role playing is to acquire, improve, or develop the skills and competence required for a certain job. It gives the employee an opportunity to assume the role of a person or act out of given situation. So employees are put in a real life setting or scenarios that are let's say stressful, unfamiliar, complex, or argumentative. You're put in that scenario, requiring them to assess their personal inclinations um, toward that toward that scenarios and their circumstances. For the last type of hands-on method, we have the behavior modeling. So behavior modeling is a fundamental component of many management training programs. It is widely used for interpersonal skills training. Um, Bandera's social learning theory underlies these strategies. If you are familiar with Albert Bandura. So according to Albert Bandura's social learning theory, human behavior is explained by social learning theory as a continual balanced relationship of cognitive, behavioral, and environmental forces. Aside from that, it also emphasizes the importance of observing and modeling the behaviors, attitudes, and emotional reactions of others. So behavior modeling, this type of training can assist employees in changing their behaviors and actions on the job, and it may also increase their productivity. So let's say, for example, your co-employee made a huge mistake at work that caused a lot of problems. So instead of spitting harsh words at them, you take a deep breath and imagine a tough conversation in your head where you give constructive criticism to that team member. So upon opening your eyes, you feel much better addressing them. So we use this strategy to improve our work performance because training will not last if it is not focused on developing new work habits or changing our behavior. So behavior modeling is for addressing or um, what do you call this? Implementing appropriate behavior at work. So that is behavior modeling. So another important consideration in behavior modeling is the modeling display. So candidates or the employees under training watch actual or video illustrations of appropriate ways to behave in a difficult situation. So another thing to consider is the application planning. So it prepares trainee for the on-the-job application of important behaviors in some scenarios. So the participants will create a written document. So that is the difference between modeling display and application planning. In application planning, the participant will create or prepare a written document outlining the particular scenarios in which the key behaviors, the appropriate behaviors, they should be used. Okay, so the document outlining particular scenario in which the key behavior should be used. So that is application planning. So for the next training method, which is the group building methods, it will be discussed by the next reporter. And this is the end of my report. Thank you for listening, and yeah, let's proceed to the next reporter.
Hi, this is Dorian Joy Cabobos, your second reporter, and this is the continuation of the lesson. Group building method is a type of training method for a team or a group. It is a way of sharing ideas and experiences to achieve one common goal, identify strengths and weaknesses of a person, and also build relationship with each other. Under group building method, we have four types of learning, which is experiential, adventure, team training, and action learning. The first one is experiential learning, which has four stages. One, gain conceptual knowledge and theory. Two, take part in a behavioral simulation. Three, analyze the activity. And four, connect the theory and activity with on-the-job or real-life situation. In this type of learning, trainees or employees need to think and move outside their comfort zone in terms of input of goals and ready to deal with changes in the environment. And of course, with their own selves, such as attitudes and behavior. Experiential learning is useful in areas which require practical thinking. Business simulations are used to teach important concepts like supply chain management, systems thinking, and etc. Next is the adventure learning, a type of learning that uses to develop teamwork and leadership skills through the activities. It is mostly outside company activities such as outbound training, workshops, tours, and etc. Adventure learning appears to be best suited for developing skills related to group effectiveness, such as self-awareness, problem solving, conflict management, and risk taking. It engaged trainees in authentic, mentally and physically challenging tasks. Next, we have team training. Team training is a type of learning that improves the team effectiveness and engage a cycle of identifying their goals, engage in interpersonal interaction, and take action to achieve their goals. Team training can be defined as training in which teams are used to increase individual procedural knowledge and proficiency in doing a job, individual procedural knowledge and proficiency in functioning as a part of a team, and overall team performances. It has five main elements of structure of team training. One, cross-training. Two, coordination training. Three, team leader training. Four, scenario-based training. And five, guided team self-correction. Cross-training has team members understand and practice each other's skills so that the members are prepared to step in and take the place of a member who may temporarily or permanently leave the team. Coordination training instructs the team in how to share information and decision-making responsibilities to maximize team performances. Team leader training refers to training that the team manager or facilitator receives. This may involve training the manager on how to resolve conflict within the team or helping the team coordinate activities or other team skills. Scenario-based training refers to training that places team members in a realistic context while learning. This type of team training helps trainees experiences the consequences of their action, make adjustments, accomplish their tasks, and build team self-efficacy. Guided team self-correction refers to training that emphasizes continuous learning and knowledge sharing in teams. In this type of training, team members observe each other's behavior and give and receive performance feedback. And last type of learning is action learning. Action learning is a type of learning that a teams or work groups an actual problem, has them work on solving it, and committing to an action plan, and then holds them accountable for carrying out the plan. This is useful to solve important problems, develop leaders, quickly build high-performance teams, and transform the organizational culture. Action learning involves between 6 and 30 employees. It may also include customers and vendors. Employees are asked to develop novel ideas and solutions in a short period of time. The team usually need to gather data for problem solving by visiting customers, employees, academics, and or industry leaders. Once the team have gathered data and developed their recommendation, they are acquired to present them to the top level executives. We have principles of action learning, Six Sigma and Kaizen. Six Sigma is a method that provides organization tools to improve the capability of their business processes. This increase in performance and decrease in process variation helps lead to defect reduction and improvement in profits, employee morale, and quality of production or services. It is called Six Sigma because we have Six Sigma colored belts that differs in achievement and typical roles. First, white belt certification demonstrates an introductory level of knowledge to the fundamental concepts of Six Sigma. Second, yellow belt certification indicates that you have learned the specific of how Six Sigma works, how its disciplines are applied to the workplace, and where best to concentrate your time as you learn the process. Third, green belt certification focuses on advanced analysis and resolution of problems related to quality improvement projects. Green belts lead and manage projects while providing support to Six Sigma black belts. 4. Black belt certification signifies that you are an expert in Six Sigma philosophies and principles. Black belts are known as agents of change within an organization who leads project teams. Fifth, Master belt Master black belt represents the top of the Lean Six Sigma achievement structure. They have intensive experience and are leaders in their fields. And last, the first level of Six Sigma certification is called a champion. A champion isn't a belt, but it is a critical function in a Six Sigma project or organization. The champion's primary role is to make sure that operational projects are in line within the strategic level business objectives. Kaizen is a Japanese word which kai means change and zen means good. Basically means good change that describes the continuous improvement of all corporate functions at all levels of the hierarchy. It is a competitive strategy in all employees work together to create a strong culture of constant improvement. It doesn't matter whether the change happens at once or is a constant, whether the change is big or small, as long as it is a change for the better. Choosing a training method. Choosing a training method is a task that is very important but also very difficult to make a decision. One way to decide or choose a training method for trainees or employees is to compare the different kinds of methods stated, and we have three given methods in the IM, which is presentation methods, hands-on methods, and group building methods. Also in the IM, and as you can see in my PowerPoint, we have a table that can help to choose a specific training method. The aspects we need to look and compare if it is compatible to a training method are learning outcomes, learning environment, transfer of training costs, and effectiveness. And that is the end of my report. Thank you very much, and shall we proceed to the next report?
Good day, my name is Alexander Aguisajan. I will be discussing technology-based training methods. So first, I would like to discuss the flow of discussion. So the first topic we'll be talking about is technology-based training methods. The second one is technology's influence on training and learning. The third one is computer-based training, online learning, web-based training, and e-learning. And the fourth one is developing effective online learning. So first, the technology-based training methods. Just a quick background. Beginning in the 1980s, organizations increasingly began utilizing technology-based delivery methods for employee training and development. During the 1980s, in IBM, technology was used to deliver no more than 5% of the company's training. By 1990, it rose to 30%, and by the end of the decade, progressed to 75% of all training development delivered. Using technology for the delivery of training and instruction is increasing and is seen to further grow in the future. The use of social media applications or platforms gives potential in having a significant influence on training and learning. How? Social media provides tools that allow training to take place across geographical limits. This expands the possibility of training in other areas. It is also time efficient, cost effective, and the less burdensome method of training. So the next one, use of new technology in training. Technology can provide benefits for those willing to accept it. Training is one area that stands to benefit greatly from technological advances. The technology has been around for many years, and this allows employees to attend meetings virtually, use conference calls, and video conferencing. In our module, it was stated in the table 8.1 that 15% of training hours are delivered in a virtual classroom and 29% is delivered online. 39% of learning hours involve technology-based training methods. 36% of large companies deliver training online compared to 26% of mid-sized companies and 28% of small companies. 74% of companies use learning management systems or LMS. If we break it down by size, 88% of large companies, which has 10,000 or more employees, 75% of mid-sized companies, which has 1,000 to 9,999 employees, and 65% of small companies, which has 100 to 999 employees, use learning management systems. I would also like to share that in my previous school, LaSalle, they also use learning management systems or LMS even before the pandemic hit. It is like a virtual classroom. All announcements, grade consultations, and subjects are present in the LMS. It is used by teachers and us students for learning and accessing information. So some social media tools used for work-related learning include Google Documents or Google Docs. So users of Google Docs can import, create, edit, and update documents, spreadsheets in various fonts and file formats. Facebook and LinkedIn. So Workplace is a communication tool created by Facebook wherein it connects everyone in the company even if they are working remotely. Learning is a feature in Workplace that lets you collect related educational posts inside of a group. These units are different topics you create in learning that can be made for gathering posts like training material, educational information, and development resources. LinkedIn Learning, on the other hand, is the leading online learning platform that recommends expert-led courses to employees for the employees to develop relevant and applicable skills. They offer online creative courses, training for teams, and online business courses. So the next one are wikis. A wiki is a collaborative tool that allows users to contribute and modify one or more pages of course-related materials. Wikis are collaborative in nature and facilitate community building within a course. So Twitter and Yammer. Twitter is a resource that allows its users to discover, evaluate, and analyze discussions or issues that are taking place online. Mentors can develop activities to teach learners how they can practice their research techniques and how they can verify information through multiple sources on Twitter. Yammer, on the other hand, allows the users to share links to interesting tips or resources, infographics, and etc. It allows users to upload a shared page to encourage others to co-create or co-edit a document like Google Docs. So the next one is WordPress and LiveJournal. WordPress is the simplest, most popular way of creating a website or blog. Websites or blogs can be used to share information for learners and its target audience. LiveJournal is a social media platform that allows members to keep a blog, journal, or diary and share their interests. And the remaining ones are podcasts. We all know what podcast is: YouTube, Flickr, Dig, Reddit, and Second Life. Although some social media platforms that I have stated are outdated or not as popular as they were before, it is just to give you an idea that there are many social media tools we can use or was used in work-related learning. So our next topic is technology's influence on training and learning. New technology reduces the costs that are aligned with delivering training to employees. The use of technology-driven training delivers benefits to employees and organizations. It maximizes available education training resources. It offers ease of use, learning retention, dissemination of information, and the ability to reinforce learning. So, some of the new technology training methods as mentioned in our module in Table 8.2 includes e-learning, online learning, CBT, and WBT, webinars, podcast, mobile learning, blended learning, wikis, distance learning, social media, shared workspaces, RSS feeds, blogs, discussion boards, microblogs, and MOOC. I will be discussing e-learning, online learning, CBT, and WBT later on. So technology has made several benefits possible. So these are the benefits. Employees can gain control over when and where they receive training. Employees can access knowledge and expert systems on an as-needed basis. Through the use of avatars, virtual reality, and simulations, the learning environment can look, feel, and sound just like the work environment. So, another one is that it saves money. Employees that are properly trained spend less time troubleshooting and more time on productive and revenue-driving tasks. The next one is that it saves time. When employees are knowledgeable about the applications they use, they can work quickly and finish projects faster. And that it fosters a competitive edge or a competitive advantage to other companies. Companies that can use all their solutions effectively are likely to outperform those that struggle to understand the basics. So training is a necessary aspect of technology solutions and planning. As we become more reliant on technology, it's important that the employees know how to utilize the solutions that the business or company is investing in. So, technology facilitates collaboration. Another influence of technology on learning and training is that it facilitates collaboration. It allows digital collaboration to occur. Digital collaboration is the use of technology to enhance and extend employees' abilities to work together, regardless of their geographic proximity. It includes electronic messaging systems like Google Hangouts, Troop Messenger, Slack, and sometimes companies provide company cell phones for them to text co-workers within or outside the company. So digital collaboration can be done synchronous or asynchronous. Synchronous communication is when trainers, experts, and learners interact with each other live and in real time. Video conferencing tools like Zoom and Google Meet make synchronous communication possible. Asynchronous communication, on the other hand, refers to non-real-time interaction. So basically, it is the same with our online classes, asynchronous and synchronous meetings. So the next one is that technology creates a dynamic learning environment. Technology engages learners in stimulated experiences and encourages them to practice collaborative decision-making skills. When this is done right, the exposure to technology deepens understanding. The trainer may help design the instruction and these instructions are delivered to the learners through technology. Learning occurs primarily through exchanges with other learners using blogs, wikis, or other types of social media training. Working on virtual team projects, participating in games, listening, exchanging ideas, interacting with experts like engineers or managers, and discovering ideas and applications using hyperlinks that take the learner to other websites. So collaboration can occur between learners and training content like using simulations or games, between learners and instructors, and between learners and experts. It is important that new technologies create a dynamic learning environment, including collaboration, active learner involvement, and access to other resources. So technology gives learners control. Learner control refers to giving trainees the option to learn through self-pacing exercises, exploring link to other materials, and conversations with trainees and experts. It includes the ability to select how content is presented, like if they will use text, pictures, or videos, or other materials, to pause, skip, and review content, and to link to additional resources. So the next one is computer-based training, online learning, web-based training, and e-learning. So it is the instruction and delivery of training by computer through the internet or the web. All of these training methods can include and integrate into instruction text, interaction using simulations and games again, and video, and collaboration using blogs, wikis, and social networks, and hyperlinks to additional resources. Trainees can still interact with the training content, answer questions, and choose responses regarding how they would behave in certain situations, but they cannot collaborate with other learners. Online learning, e-learning, and web-based training all include delivery of instruction using the internet or the web. So the potential features of online learning, these features include content, collaboration, and sharing links to resources, learning control, delivery, and administration. But we must remember that not all these features are incorporated into online learning method. So the first one is context. These are the text, video, graphics, and sound. Those are the features. So the next one is the link to resources, which has other training materials, other web-based materials, link to electronic performance support systems. The next one is learner control, which has practice, pacing, feedback, content, and accessibility. The next one is collaboration and sharing, which has communities of practice, peers, other trainees, experts, mentors, and advisors. Administration, which has enrollment, monitoring, and progress assessment. And lastly, the delivery, which has internet, web, distance learnings, and CD-ROM. Online learning can provide learners with content and ability to control what they learn, speed at which they progress through the program, how much they practice, and even when they learn. So the advantages of online learning. So some of the advantages I would just like to state, but the complete list is in the module. So some of the advantages of online learning is that it supports the company's business strategy and objectives. It is accessible at any time and any place, and that training can be delivered to geographically dispersed employees. So let's move on to the effectiveness of online learning. So again, the full list of effectiveness of online learning is in the module, but I would like to just discuss and state some. So the first one is that online instruction is more effective. Web-based instruction and classroom instruction are equally effective. Employees who get the most from online learning are those who complete more of the available opportunities and take more time to complete the training. So let's move on to the last topic, which is developing effective online learning. So web-based training or online learning should include a technology assessment and an assessment of the skills that users need for online training. So needs assessment is one of the main investigative tools institutions use to identify actual needs, gaps, and hidden parts in the system and other activities. Needs assessment can help institutions to match the needs of their target audience with the e-learning courses and programs they plan to market. So the next one is bandwidth. So it is the number of bytes and bits of information that can travel between computers per second. So graphics, photos, animation, and video in courses can be slow to download and can crash the system. Online learning courses should be designed for the available bandwidth of the company's system. Bandwidth can be increased by upgrading access speed on the user's computers, buying and installing faster service and switches like computer hardware on the company's network, or encouraging trainees to access the web when demand is not high. So the next one is creating a positive online learning experience. The characteristics of a positive learning environment should be included to help aid retention of learning content. So flowcharts or storyboards should be created that includes all of the course components such as a main menu, modules, web pages for each lessons, assessments, discussion forums, images, scholar specifications, and help menus. So again, I would like to cite my experience in using the LMS. It was really like a classroom, but of course in a computer, and all the components like the main menu, the assessments, discussion forums are also present. So the next one is rapid prototyping. It is an iterative process where initial design ideas are proposed and provided in rough form in an online working prototype that is reviewed and refined by design team members and key learning stakeholders. Watching how the users interact with the prototype provides feedback about how easily or difficult it is to navigate through the course and understand its contents, elements, and instructions. So the next one is repurposing. It is the translating of an instructor-led face-to-face training program to an online format. So online learning that merely repurposes an ineffective training program will still result in ineffective training. Unfortunately, in their haste to develop online learning, many companies are repurposing bad training. The next one is learner control. As I have said earlier, so this is giving trainees the option to learn actively through self-pacing, exercises, exploring links to other materials, and conversations with other trainees and experts. Simply providing learner control does not ensure that trainees will use all the features provided by online learning like practice exercises. Trainees should have access to instructions on how to use learner control tools, or else difficulty using them will take away from time and attention that they can devote to learning. Companies must communicate the importance and meaningfulness of the training content for employees' jobs and must hold employees accountable for completing the training. The next one is to provide time and space for online learning. Using formative evaluation of prototypes of web training can be helpful in identifying the appropriate length and time of modules. The next one is technology for collaboration and linking. This can involve an exchange among two or more trainees or among the trainer or other experts. Employees learn by informal, unstructured contact with experts and peers. Collaboration can involve an exchange among two or more trainees or among the trainer or other experts. Linking includes the use of hyperlinks, which I will be discussing next. So hyperlinks, these are links that allows the trainees to access other websites that includes printed materials, as well as communications links to experts, trainers, and other learners. Research suggests that the reason some employees fail to complete online learning and prefer instructor-led face-to-face instruction over online learning is that they want to be able to learn and network with their peers. Effective online learning connects trainees and facilitates interaction and sharing through the use of collaborative learning tools such as chat rooms, discussion boards, or social media. And the last one is the Massive Open Online Courses, or the MOOC that I have stated earlier. So, MOOC refers to the learning that is designed to enroll large number of learners. So, it is free and accessible to anyone with an internet connection that is open. It takes place online using videos of lectures, interactive coursework including discussion groups and wikis, which is online. And it has specific start and completion dates, quizzes and assessment, and exams or courses. So it is like the Google Classroom and the Canvas that is being used by other universities and schools. So that is all for my discussion and presentation in my topic. So thank you for listening.
Good day everyone, I am Altea Maria Cinto and I am the next reporter. I am going to report about the social media and the mobile technology in learning. Social media, which consists of wikis, blogs, microblogs, and social networks, are online and mobile technology that is used to create interactive communication, allowing the creation and exchange of user-generated content. They include blogs, wikis, networks such as Facebook and LinkedIn, micro-sharing sites such as Twitter, and shared media such as YouTube. Social media can be useful for providing links to resources such as webinars, videos, and articles related to new learning content, helping determine future training needs and issues by using tagging capabilities, reinforcing and sustaining learning, being used as a coaching and mentoring tool, linking learners before, during, and after a formal training event, engaging Generation X and millennial employees, and last, providing content before a face-to-face learning event. Wikis. A wiki refers to a website that allows many users to create, edit, and update content, and share knowledge. Example of wikis are Wikipedia and WikiHow. Next is blogs. It refers to a web page where an author posts entries and readers often can comment. There are different types of blogs. One is personal blogs written by one person. Another is company blogs used for marketing and branding purposes. Next is topic blogs focusing on a specific topic area. And last is blogs based on media, which is video blogs, and devices, which is mobile device blog. There are several considerations for effectively using blogs in training. For a blog to be useful for training, it should be related to the learning objectives. Otherwise, trainees will find it to be lazy work and fail to see its benefits. Next is microblogs. Microblogs refers to software tools that enable communications in short bursts of text, links, and multimedia, either through standalone applications or through online communities or social networks. Example of microblogs are Twitter and Tumblr. Next is shared media. It refers to audio or video that can be accessed and shared with others. An example of shared media is YouTube. Factors to consider in deciding to use social media for training and learning. How would you determine if social media would be an effective learning tool in a company? I'll be showing the questions that is helpful to determine whether the social media is useful or not. First, are social networks already being used in the company? Does social networking fit into the company's learning strategy? Are employees geographically dispersed? Does the learning strategy support on-the-job training? Is there a need to foster collaboration? Are a significant number of employees from the millennial generation or Generation X? Are employees comfortable using social networks? Does the business require substantial teamwork? Does knowledge need to be shared quickly? Does the company value innovation? Does the culture support decentralized decision making? These are the questions to ask to address this issue. The more yes to these questions, the more likely that social media will be an effective learning solution. The most important considerations is whether social media is already being used in the company, which will make it easier to determine how it fits into the company's learning strategy and how easily it could be adapted to training. Blended learning. Blended learning combines online learning, face-to-face instruction, and other methods for distributing learning content and instruction. Blended learning courses provide learners with the positive features of both face-to-face instruction and technology-based delivery and instructional methods while minimizing the negative features of each. In comparison to classroom delivery, blended learning provides increased learner control, allows for self-directedness, and requires learners to make more responsibility for their learning. All factors consistent with the recommendations of adult learning theory. In comparison to pure online learning, blended learning provides more face-to-face social interaction and ensures that at least some of the instruction is presented in a dedicated learning environment. Blended learning uses the classroom to allow learners to learn together and to discuss and share insights, which helps bring learning to life and make it meaningful. Live feedback from peers is preferable to feedback received online. Simulations and games were introduced as a traditional training method. Simulation and games that can be delivered via personal computer or gaming technology such as an Xbox immerse trainees in decision-making exercises in an artificial yet realistic environment that allow them to learn the consequences of their decisions. What is serious games? It refers to games in which the training content is turned into a game but has business objectives. Next is what is gamification? It means that game-based strategies are applied to e-learning programs. The key is to use the fun and motivational aspects of games that help employees acquire knowledge and skills. There are four different types of simulations and games. First is branching story. Trainees are presented with a situation and asked to make a choice or decision. Trainees progress through the simulation on the basis of their decisions. Next is interactive spreadsheet. Trainees are given a set of business rules, usually finance-based, and asked to make decisions that will affect the business. The decisions are entered into a spreadsheet that shows how the decision affects the business. Next is game-based. Trainees play a video game on a computer. And last is virtual. Trainees interact with the computer representation of the job for which they are being trained. Some simulations include virtual reality or take place in virtual worlds. What is virtual reality? Virtual reality is a computer-based technology that provides trainees with a three-dimensional learning experience. This allows simulation to become even more realistic. Using specialized equipment or viewing the immersive model on the computer screen, Trainees move through the simulated environment and interact with its components. Simulations allow the trainees to experience presence. What is presence? It refers to perceptions of actually being in a particular environment. Presence is influenced by the amount of sensory information available to the trainee, control over the environment, and the ability to modify the environment. In simulations, presence can include trainees feeling a sense of motion or experiencing emotions such as anger from a customer or colleague. Poor presence may result in trainees experiencing vomiting, dizziness, headaches, and frustration because senses are inappropriately distorted. Simulations can also take place in a virtual world. Virtual world refers to the computer-based, simulated online three-dimensional representation of the real world where learning programs can be hosted. An avatar is used in virtual world or reality. What is an avatar? An avatar refers to computer depictions of humans that are used as imaginary coaches, co-workers, customers, and instructors. Virtual world allow employees to learn alone, with their peers, or in teams. As you can see from these examples, simulations can be effective for several reasons. First, trainees can use them on their desktop or notebook computer, eliminating the need to travel to a central training location. Second, simulations are meaningful. They get trainees involved in learning, and they are emotionally engaging. This increases employees' willingness to practice, encourages retention, improves their skills, and enhances transfer of training. Third, simulators provide a consistent message of what needs to be learned. Trainees can work at their own pace and, compared to face-to-face instruction, simulators can incorporate more situations or problems that a trainee might encounter. Simulator can be used for training interpersonal skills and how to use equipment. Fourth, simulations can safely put employees in situations that will be dangerous in the real world. Trainees can learn and practice dangerous tasks without putting themselves or others in danger. Fifth, simulations have been found to result in such positive outcomes as shorter training times and increased return on investment. Next, mobile technology and learning. Mobile technology allows learning to occur anywhere, at any time. It is a technology that goes where the user goes. It consists of portable, two-way communication devices, computing devices, and the networking technology that connects them. Mobile technology consists of wireless transmission of systems, such as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, that allow transmission of data without the need for physical connections between devices or between a device and an internet connection. Mobile devices such as smartphones, tablet computers, iPods, iPads, global positioning system or GPS devices, and radio frequency identification or RFID chips. Next is software applications related to processing audio files, word processing, spreadsheets, internet, email, and instant messaging. Mobile learning refers to training delivered using a mobile device such as smartphone, netbook, notebook computer, or iPad. Mobile learning can involve both formal and informal learning. Formal learning might include e-learning courses, podcasts, or videos on the mobile device. Informal learning includes engaging communication and messaging with other employees or experts by Twitter, blogs, or Facebook. The advantages of mobile learning include that it is an easy way to get up-to-date information to employees. It can be useful for enhancing transfer of training through providing follow-up. It brings training to employees who are constantly traveling, are out of the office visiting customers or clients, or don't have the time to attend the face-to-face course or program, such as salespeople or executives. And learners can complete training on their own time and pace. Mobile learning allows employees to generate content by creating video, taking photos, or recording an interview and sharing it with others. Also, using mobile devices for learning appeals to millennials. Mobile devices can also provide RSS feeds, shared media which is YouTube, and podcasts. Podcasts are audio or video program content distributed in episodes using software such as RSS. The best use of podcasts is for narrative-based content that inspires the user's imagination using music and sound effects. Through mobile technologies, training and learning can occur naturally throughout the workday or at home. Employees can be connected to communities of learning, and employees are given the ability to learn at their own pace by reviewing material or skipping over content that they already know. Many companies are using tablets such as the iPad for training because of their ease of use, colorful, easy to read display, ability to connect to the web, and availability of powerful apps. Apps refer to applications designed specifically for smartphones and tablet computers. Apps are primarily being used to supplement training, manage the path or sequence of training, and to help employees maintain training records. For mobile learning to be effective, it needs to be short, easy to use, and meaningful. One estimate is that the course length should not exceed 10 minutes because users likely do not have long periods of time for learning, and attention spans are limited when looking at the small screens on many mobile devices. The screen layout should work or without graphics. Images should be used only where relevant to the content because download time may be slow due to the bandwidth limitations. Images used should be sized so that the user can see them without scrolling horizontally or vertically. Technical requirements due to screen size, web browsers, and mobile operating system needs to be considered, as well as the availability and ability to use plugins such as Flash, Java, and portable document format or PDF. Also, simply repurposing lectures by digitizing them and distributing them to employees will not facilitate learning.
Good day, I am Alina Vesteras from Group 3, and for our topic, we are going to discuss Lesson 3, or the training and development methods. Under my report, we will be having adaptive training, distance learning, and under distance learning, we have the virtual classroom and interactive distance learning, and technologies for training and support. Under technologies for training and support, we have expert systems and electronic performance support systems. The first one we are going to talk about is the adaptive training. So, adaptive training refers to training that customizes or adapts the content presented to the trainee based on their learning style, ability, personality, or performance. So, apparently, these adaptations include the variety, difficulty, and sequencing of content as well as practice problems. In adaptive training, instruction changes based on trainee scores and tests or quizzes completed either before training or at various times as they experience training. This assessment results in adaptations of the content to best help the trainee to learn. Although trainers strive to meet the needs of learners, it is very difficult using face-to-face training methods. Online training makes it easier to use ongoing assessments to identify the most effective instructional pathways for learners. The major challenge in developing adaptive training is to ensure that different content customizations match the learner needs and help them attain the learning objectives. The second one that we will be talking about is the distance learning. The distance learning, in simple ways, refers to being used geographically dispersed companies to provide information about new products, policies, or procedures, as well as deliver skills training and expert lectures to field locations. It also features two-way communications between two people and it currently involves two types of technology. The first one is teleconferencing, and the second one is individualized personal computer based training. Under teleconferencing, it refers to synchronous exchange of audio, video, and/or text between two or more individuals or groups at two or more locations. Meanwhile, individualized personal computer-based training refers to multimedia training methods. So the only difference between the two is under teleconferencing, trainees attend training programs in training facilities in which they can communicate with trainers who are at another location and other trainees using the telephone or personal computer. On the other hand, personal computer-based training and refers to employees participate in training anywhere they have access to a personal computer. So it includes multimedia methods including web-based training. So course material and assignments can be distributed using the company's internet, video, or DVDs. Trainers and trainees interact using email, bulletin boards, and conferencing systems. Furthermore, distance learning also includes virtual classrooms. Under virtual classrooms, we have projection of still, animated and video images, instructor participant audio discussion, sharing of computer software applications, interactions using polling technology, and whiteboard marking tools. However, we are going to focus on virtual classroom as it is the main factor of distance learning. In simpler terms, virtual classroom refers to using a computer and the internet to distribute instructor-led training to geographically dispersed employees, meaning employees who are far from each other but in need of constant communication. It works on big companies such as Accenture, IBM, companies like that with multiple branches across the world. The advantage of uh, virtual classroom as it includes cost savings and convenience. Geographically dispersed employees can be brought together for training for several hours each week, and content experts can be brought into the classroom as only needed. However, the training delivered using a virtual classroom is not the same as the training delivered face to face by an instructor. There are a number, moreover, of guidelines for developing effective training in the virtual classroom. The first one, we have the design short modules and follow up with an assignment that applies the learning to the job. Second one, we have it makes learning interactive and interesting, such as modeling the program after a phone in a radio show. Next one, we have it includes media such as video and audio. Next one, we have it limits classroom size to no more than 25 learners. Next one, we have it offer learners multiple ways of interacting with each other and the instructor, including webinars, email, discussion rooms, message boards, and blogs. Thus, lastly, it tests the technology before the first class to ensure it's ready. The only downside of virtual classroom is they don't have to they didn't get the chance to personally meet each other, to personally know each other for the betterment of the workplace. However, as I said earlier, it promotes convenience and it is easier for the companies to conduct training, especially when their employees are scattered across the globe. The next one, we have the interactive distance learning. So ISD refers to the latest generation of distance learning, which uses satellite technology to broadcast programs to different locations and allows trainees to respond to questions posed during the training program using a keypad. The distance learning methods are only capable of two major factors, the virtual classroom and the ISD. However, it already promotes various advantages for the company. For example, an advantage of distance learning is that the company can save on travel costs. It also allows employees in geographically dispersed sites to receive training from experts who would not otherwise be available to visit each location. Intuit finds that a traditional classroom environment is good for introducing software and providing trainees with the opportunity to network. Virtual classroom training is used for courses on special software features for demonstrations and for troubleshooting using application sharing features. Webcasting or web conferencing involves instruction that is provided online through live broadcasts. Webcasting helps spread the sales force training throughout the year rather than cramming it into a twice a year sales meetings. Webcasting also helped ensure that the salespeople also receive the same information. The salespeople like the webcast because of the timely information that helped them have conversations with customers. The live sessions were also popular because participants could ask questions. However, not all company methods are just an advantage to the company. It also has a disadvantage, and as much as distance learning promotes convenience and comfortability for the company, its major advantage could be considered as the lack of interaction between the trainer and the audience, technology failures, and unprepared trainers. A high degree of interaction among trainees or between the trainees and the trainer is a positive learning feature that is missing from distance learning programs that use the technology only to broadcast a lecture to geographically dispersed employees. All this does is repurpose a traditional lecture with its limitations for learning and transfer of training. For a new training technology to engage trainees in a distance learning environment, it is useful to limit online sessions to 60 to 90 minutes in length, maintain a good instructional pace, avoid presenting unnecessary text, use relevant and engaging visuals, for example, graphs and animations, and allow trainees to participate using polling devices and small group breakout rooms for discussion and projects. A group spokesperson can be assigned to summarize and communicate the group's ideas. Weather conditions and satellite glitches can occur at any time, disconnecting the instructor from the audience or making it difficult to show video or other multimedia presentations. Instructors need backup plans for dealing with technical issues. Because many instructors have difficulty speaking to trainees in another location without a live group of trainees in front of them. It is important, however, to prepare instructions for distance delivery. To sum it all up, we could put our feet to the distance learning with how are we handling the pandemic as of the moment. So the schools are closed, the traditional classes are postponed, and we are under the blended learning or remote learning. So the online classes that we have can be configured as the virtual classroom of training. So all disadvantages I have mentioned are also the disadvantages we are facing with online class. So if we are going to understand the situation briefly, we can comprehend the proper definition of distance learning. The last topic we have is technologies for training and support. So technologies such as expert systems, groupware, and electronic support systems are being used to support training efforts. Training support means that these technologies are helping to capture training content so that it is available to employees who may not have attended training. Training support also means that these technologies provide information and decision rules to employees on an as needed basis. That is, they are job aids. Employees can access these technologies in the work environment. To further understand this topic, we have the conditions when training support technologies are most needed. So below are some situation that we could identify that we are already in need of training support technologies. The first one is the performance of task is infrequent. Second one is the task is lengthy, difficult, and information intensive. Next one, we have the consequences of error are damaging. Fourth one, we have the performance relies on knowledge, procedures, or approaches that frequently change. Next one, we have there is high employee turnover. Next one, little time is available for training or there are few resources for training. And lastly, employees are expected to take full responsibility for learning and performing tasks. So these are guides for a company to know that they are already in need of training support technologies. The first one for technologies for training support is the expert systems. In simpler terms, expert systems refer to technology that organizes and applies the knowledge of human experts to specific problems. Expert systems have three main elements. The first one is a knowledge base that contains facts, figures, and rules about a specific subject. Next one, it is a decision-making capability that imitating an expert's reasoning ability, draws conclusions from those facts, and figures solve problems and answer questions. Lastly, it is a user interface that gathers and gives information to the person using the system. Furthermore, expert systems are used as a general support tool that employees refer to when they have problems or decisions that they feel exceed their current knowledge and skills. They can also be used to help employees make sense of different conditions and problems and keep track of tasks that need to be completed. Expert systems can deliver both high quality and lower costs. By using the decision process of expert, the system enables many people to arrive at decisions that reflect experts' knowledge. An expert system helps avoid the errors that can result from fatigue, decision biases, and the inability to make sense of large amounts of information. The efficiencies of an expert system can be realized if it can be operated by fewer or less skilled and likely less costly employees than the company would otherwise require. The last one in our topic is the Electronic Performance Support Systems or the EPSS. EPSS are an electronic infrastructure that captures, stores, and distributes individual and corporate knowledge assets throughout an organization to enable individuals to achieve required levels of performance in the fastest possible time and with a minimum of support from other people. An EPSS includes all the software needed to support the work of individuals, not just one or two specific software applications. Furthermore, to use EPSS as a substitute for training, trainers must determine whether problems and tasks require employee to actually acquire knowledge, skill, ability, or learn capability, and whether periodic assistance through EPSS is sufficient. So that must be all for my report. I hope you understand something. Thank you very much for listening. That would be all. Let's go to the next reporter.
Good day, my name is Marilara Lenzi Patalinghog, and my report for today is about the learning management systems for training delivery, support, and administration. First, let's define learning management systems. It is a software that enables companies and educational institutions to create and manage lessons, courses, quizzes, and other training materials. An example of this is Canvas, Moodle, and Google Classroom. The features of LMS or Learning Management Systems. The first is training management and reporting. With LMS, we can track, report on training progress and activities. This becomes monitoring their progress easier. Training event and resource management. This is so that we can organize, manage, and track course resources such as classroom and instructors. Online course delivery infrastructure. This is to easily deliver online courses and register and track the trainees. Authoring tools is basically to create new courses for the trainees and or employees. Skill assessment. This is so that we can create, edit, distribute, and deliver assessment tests and review the trainees' achievement. This is basically just used to disseminate the materials needed for the trainees. Professional development management. This is so that we can track and compare trainee learning against goals based on the trainee's job and or function. Knowledge bases. This is to integrate links to learning references that supplement their online learning. This is so that they can have more knowledge towards the type of work that they're going to be doing. And personalization. This is so that the employees can engage in learning through the use of target courses, references, and emails. And the last feature of LMS is linked to human capital management systems, which in here they can manage their performance and they can carefully monitor the development of their careers. After features of LMS, now we go to the functions of LMS. LMS can help a company reduce travel and other costs related to training. Time is reduced for program completion, and the third function is LMS helps increase employees' accessibility to training because LMS can be held at the comfort of one's home or in your offices. LMS can also provide administrative capabilities to track program completion and course enrollments. This is so that the progress can be easily tracked. LMS is used to centralize management of learning activities. As learning management systems, all of the learning materials is already in one place and it can be much easier for the trainee or the employee to study the materials if it's all compiled in one place. Next is importance of LMS. LMS is important for human capital management as it determines how the funds are spent and how the training expenses translates into the business money. This is basically used to see if there is a return in investments for the training that was conducted by the company. LMS is utilized to track the number of employees who have completed courses. This is more for the trainer because the trainer can easily see who finished this course or who didn't. Now we go to choosing new technology training methods. New technology training method uses computer-based tools to enhance the training process, typically by involving trainees actively rather than passively. Using this method requires investment in development, and the cost is related to purchasing hardware and software when it comes to cost, because development costs might be high, but the cost for administering the program is low. The cost might be low because, as I've said earlier, there is a reduced number of trainers that is needed and therefore less funds for the labor. The advantages of new technology training methods. These advantages are the cost is cut due to training being accessible to employees at their home or office. There's also a reduced in number of trainers. The cost associated with employees traveling to a training location is also reduced. This cost is reduced because there is no need to go to other places and it can be held in your homes. Although traditional training methods can be effective, managers and trainers should consider using new technology training methods under certain conditions. This is if trainees are geographically separated and travel costs are extremely high. And current training methods allow limited time for practice, feedback, and assessment. And current training methods allow limited time for practice, feedback, and assessment. The process is faster and they create a rapport with each other, making the workplace a lighter environment to work in. Now, after tackling new technology training methods, we talk about the employee development and career management. Let's talk about the relationship about development, training, and careers. Development refers to the formal education, job experiences, relationships, and assessment of personality and skills that helps an employee prepare for the future. It is critical for talent management, especially for senior managers and employees with leadership potential. While training focuses on helping employees' performance in their current jobs, and it has a specific goal of improving one's capability, capacity, productivity, and performance. Now, let's look at this table. This table shows the differences and the similarities of development and training. The focus of development is for the future, whereas the focus of training is for the present time. The use of work experience for development is extremely high, yet the use of work experience in training isn't really that necessary or it is low. But the goal for these two things is the same, which is preparation for changes in careers. Participation for development is voluntary, wherein the participation in training is required or it is a must. Careers. Careers are known as protean careers. A protean career is based on self-direction with the goal of psychological success in one's work. The protean career has several implications for employee development. The goal of the new career is psychological success, the feeling of pride and accomplishments that comes from achieving life goals that are not limited to achievements at work. Simply states that psychological success is more on ourselves and it can't be achieved by any monetary award. Next, it is essential for an employee to continuously develop new skills rather than rely on a static knowledge base. Today's careers are boundaryless and often change. Boundaryless means that careers may involve identifying more with the job or profession than with the present employer. As this discussion shows, to retain and motivate employees, companies need to provide a system to identify and meet the employees' development needs. Now, let's go on to the development planning systems. Self-assessment is one of the development planning systems. Let's define self-assessment. Self-assessment refers to the use of information by employees to determine their career interests, values, aptitudes, and behavioral tendencies. There are several tests like the MBTI, Strong Campbell Interest Inventory, and the Self-Directed Search. These tests may also help employees identify the relative value they place on work and leisure activities. These psychological tests helps the employees identify their occupational and job interests, and it can also help identify the employees' preferences for working in different types of environments. These psychological tests that you can see in the screen are going to be explained later in the discussion. Now, let's go to reality check. This refers to the information employees receive about how the company evaluates their skills and knowledge and where they fit into the company's plans. Usually, this information is provided by the employee's manager as part of the performance appraisal. It is not uncommon for managers to hold separate performance appraisals and development discussions. Performance appraisal discussions are focused on an employee's job performance during a defined period of time, and usually involve a discussion of what financial incentives or pay increases the employee can expect to receive as a result of performance. And development discussions do not involve pay or rewards, and they focus on the employee's skill set or competencies and how to develop them properly. Goal setting. This refers to the process of employees developing short and long-term development objectives, and this goal usually relate to desired positions, level of skill application, work setting, and skill acquisition. The final one is action plan. This is a written strategy that employees use to determine how they will achieve their short and long-term career goals. The development approach used depends on their needs and the developmental goal. After that, we go to approaches to employee development. These programs should be developed through the same process used for training design. To determine the development needs of an individual, department, or company, an analysis of strengths and weaknesses needs to be completed so that appropriate development activities can be chosen. Keep in mind that although much development activity is targeted at managers, all levels of employees may be involved in development. Now, I'm going to be talking about the approaches to develop employees. The first is formal education. This includes the off-site and on-site programs designed specifically for the company's employees and the short courses offered by consultants or universities and university programs in which participants usually live at the university while taking these classes. Executive education is like the formal education, but it refers to business management courses designed to aid the professional development of company leaders and managers and are considered part of an ongoing process of lifelong learning. The third is tuition reimbursement. As the title says, tuition reimbursement. This refers to the practice of reimbursing employees' costs for college and university courses and degree programs as a benefit for all employees to encourage them to develop on their own potentials. Assessment. This involves collecting information and providing feedback to employees about the behavior, communication style, and their skills. This helps employees understand their tendencies, needs, and the type of environment they prefer in the workplace and the type of work they might prefer to do. And the last approach is personality tests and inventories. These are used to determine if employees have the personality characteristics necessary to be successful in specific managerial jobs or jobs involving international assignments. These are used to help employees gain self-awareness of how they respond to conflict, what motivates them, how they solve their problems, and how they react to stress. And the last approach is personality tests and inventories. This is used to determine if employees have the personality characteristics that is necessary to be successful in specific managerial jobs or jobs involving international assignments. They are also used to help employees gain self-awareness of how they respond to conflict, what motivates them, how they solve their problems, and how they react to stress. These personality tests are NEO Personality Inventory and the Myers-Briggs Type Inventory, or the MBTI. The NEO Personality Inventory measures the openness of an employee to new experiences, conscientiousness or dependability, emotional stability, assertiveness, and the ability to get along with other people. The Myers-Briggs Type Inventory, or the MBTI, refers to an assessment that is based on Carl Jung's personality type theory. This theory emphasizes that we have a fundamental personality type that shapes and influences how we understand the world, process information, and socialize. There are 16 unique personality types that are based on preferences for introversion, which is I, or extroversion, which is Eve, sensing, S, or intuition, N, thinking, T, or feeling, F. And the last is judging, which is J, and perceiving, which is P. This assessment tool identifies an individual's preferences for energy, which is the controversion versus extroversion, and information gathering, which is the sensing versus intuition, decision making, which is this thinking versus the feeling, and lifestyle, which is judging versus the perceiving. Each personality type has implications for work habits and interpersonal relationships. Now we go to assessment center. In an assessment center, multiple evaluators or assessors evaluate employees' performance on a number of exercises. An assessment center is usually an off-site location, such as a conference center. 6 to 12 employees usually participate at one time. Assessment centers are primarily used to identify if employees have the personality characteristics, administrative skills, and interpersonal skills that is needed for managerial jobs. Assessment centers may also be useful for development because employees who participate in the process receive feedback regarding their attitudes, skill strengths, and weaknesses. The assessors are usually the managers, and the managers are trained to look for employee behaviors that are related to the skills that will be assessed. Typically, each assessor observes and records one or two employees' behavior in each exercises. The assessors review their notes and grade each employee's level of skill. Um, an example of this is 5 being the high level of leadership skills and 1 being the low level of leadership skills. And after all employees have completed the exercises, the assessors discuss their observations of each employee. They compare their ratings and they try to agree on each employee's ratings for each of the skills. Now, let's tackle the types of exercises used in assessment centers. The first one is leaderless group discussion. A team of 5 to 7 employees is assigned a problem and they must work together to solve it within a certain time period. The problem may involve buying and selling supplies, nominating subordinates for an award, or assembling a product. The next is interview. In this interview, employees answer questions about their work and personal experiences, skills, strengths, and weaknesses, and of course, their career plans. The third is in basket. This is a simulation of the administrative task of the manager's job. This exercise may include a variety of documents that may appear in the basket, email, or on the manager's desk. The participants read the materials and decide how to respond to them. The responses might include delegating tasks, scheduling meetings, writing replies, or completely just ignoring the memo. The final exercise is role play. This refers to the participant taking the part or role of a manager or other employee. Let's go to performance appraisals and the 360-degree feedback systems. Let's define performance appraisal. It is the process of measuring employees' performance, and the appraisal system must tell employees specifically about their performance problems and how they can improve their systems. This is basically the feedback of a manager for the performance of his or her employee. This includes providing a clear understanding of the differences between current performance and the expected performance and identifying the cause of the performance discrepancy and developing action plans to improve the performance. These two are popular tools for development, particularly for managers. The upward feedback refers to appraisal that involves collecting the subordinate's evaluation of the manager's behaviors and skills, wherein the 360-degree feedback does not only evaluate employees' behaviors or skills by subordinates, but also by peers, customers, their bosses, and also themselves. The raters complete a questionnaire asking them to rate the person on a number of different dimensions. The assessors are asked to assess the manager's strength in a particular item or whether development is needed. Several studies have shown that performance improves and behavior changes as a result of participating in upward feedback and 360-degree feedback systems. The most change occurs in individuals who receive lower ratings from others than they gave themselves, which are called the overraters. The advantage consists of collecting multiple perspectives of managers' performance, which will come from the peers, from bosses, and from themselves. This also formalizes the communications about certain behaviors that one is bothered about or one doesn't like. And on the screen here is also listed the limitations of the 360-degree feedback ability of the raters to complete the evaluations. Because the evaluations might take a long time to do, the time availability might be a bit off. And another limitation of the 360-degree feedback is that the company's failure to provide ways that managers can act on the feedback they receive. May it be development planning, meeting with raters, or taking courses. And the factors for 360-degree feedback to be effective is that the assessors must provide reliable or consistent ratings and competencies, the rater's confidentiality must be maintained, and the system must be easy to use for everyone or for every employee. And the most important one is that the managers receive and they act on the feedback for it to be effective. 360-degree questionnaires can be developed online to the raters. This increases the number of completed questionnaires returned and makes it easier to process the information, and this speeds the feedback report to managers. And this wraps up my report. Thank you very much.
Job experiences. Job experiences is where majority of the development of the employee comes from. Job experiences refers on how employees deal with relationships, difficulties, demands, duties, and other aspects of their professions. One important assumption of employing job experiences for employee development is that development is most likely to occur when individuals are given stretch tasks. Stretch assignments or stretch tasks are those in which there is a mismatch between the employee's skills and previous experiences and the competencies required for job success. Employees must expand their skills in order to excel in their employment, which requires them to learn new skills, use their skills and knowledge in new ways, and master new experiences. New job assignments allow people to capitalize on their existing abilities, experiences, and contacts while also developing new ones. The majority of what we know about job-based growth comes from a series of research undertaken by the Center for Creative Leadership. Executives were asked to identify major professional events that influence their leadership styles, as well as the lessons they have acquired from these encounters. The important events involve the work assignments, such as correcting a field operation, interpersonal interactions, getting along with supervisors, and the precise type of transition required. Situations in which the executive lacked a relevant background. Table 9.7 shows the job expectations and what employees can learn from them. The use of tough job experiences for employee development raises the question of whether they are seen as positive or negative stressors. Positive stressors in the workplace push employees to increase learning, enlarging the current job. This refers to the addition of new challenges or duties to an employee's current job. Special project assignments, changing positions within a work team, or discovering innovative ways to service clients and customers that are examples of this. Job rotation and lateral moves. Job rotation and lateral moves provide employees with a series of job assignments in different functional areas of the organization, as well as mobility between roles within a single functional area or department. Job rotation entails a predetermined sequence of jobs or positions that the employee is intended to hold, whereas lateral moves may or may not entail a predetermined sequence of jobs or positions. Job rotation assists employees in developing an overall appreciation of the firm's aims, increasing their grasp of various company roles and establishing a network of contacts. Encouragement of employees to move laterally assists firms in retaining bright individuals who seek new job experiences and possibilities. It also aids in identifying employees' talents and shortcomings, which is important in deciding if they will be candidates for leadership positions in the future. Employees are given the opportunity to work on new projects and issues, to learn new abilities, and to apply their existing skills in novel ways. Employees also learn about many parts of the firm that are vital for future advancement prospects. A lateral move may entail physically shifting to a new office within the same building, as well as moving across the country or worldwide. Because lateral moves can generate confusion and stress, employers should pay employees for moving and relocation expenses, provide orientation to the new position and location, and encourage managers and peers to provide coaching and emotional support. The characteristics of effective job rotation systems are shown in Table 9.8. Job rotation systems that are effective are linked to the company's training, development, and career management systems. Job rotation is also employed for many types of employees, not just those with managerial positions or management potential. Transfers, promotions, and downward moves. Upward, lateral, and downward mobility is available for development process in most companies. In a transfer, an employee is transferred when he or she is assigned a job in a different department of the organization. Transfers do not always result in increased job responsibilities or pay. They are most likely lateral movements, a move to a job with similar responsibilities. Transfers may entail moving inside the United States or to another country. This can be stressful not only because the employee's job function changes, but also because if the person is a part of the two-career household, the spouse must locate new work. In addition, the family must relocate to a new community. Employees' everyday lives, interpersonal relationships, and job habits are all disrupted by transfers. People must locate new housing, shopping, healthcare, and recreational facilities, and they may be far from the emotional support of friends and family. They must also learn new work norms and procedures. They must establish interpersonal relationships with their new managers and peers. And they are expected to be productive in their new jobs as they were in their previous jobs, despite knowing little about the products, services, processes, or employees for whom they are responsible. Many companies struggle to encourage staff to accept transfers because they might induce anxiety. And according to research, the following employee traits are connected to a willingness to accept transfers. First one is high level of career ambition. Second is the belief that one's future with a company is good. And third is a belief that accepting a transfer is required for corporate success. Employees who are not married and are not involved in the community are more likely to accept transfers. Among married employees, the spouse desire to relocate is the most influential factor in determining whether an employee will accept a transfer. Promotions or progress into position with higher demands, responsibility, and authority than the preceding post. Pay raises are frequently part of a promotion. A downward move occurs when an employee is demoted or he or she is given less responsibility and authority. This could include a lateral demotion to another position at the same level, or a temporary cross-functional move, or a demotion due to poor performance. Temporary cross-functional movements to lower-level roles, which provide individuals with experience working in multiple functional areas, are the common method of employee development. To ensure that employees accept transfers, promotions, and downward moves as development opportunities, companies can provide the following: information about the content, challenges, and potential benefits of the new job and location, involvement in the transfer decision by sending the employees the preview of the new location and giving them information about the community, clear performance objectives and early feedback about their job performance, a host at the new location to help them adjust to the new community and workplace, information about how the job opportunity will affect their income, taxes, mortgage payments, and other expenses, reimbursement and assistance in selling and purchasing or renting a place to live, an orientation program for the new location and job, information on how the new job experiences will support employees' career plans, assistance for the dependent family members, including identifying schools and childcare and elder care options, help for spouse in identifying and marketing skills and finding employment, temporary assignments, projects, volunteer work, and sabbaticals. Temporary assignments include employment tryouts, such as employees taking on a position to see if they want to work in a new role, project work, employee exchanges, sabbaticals, and volunteer assignments. All temporary assignments have an expiry date, which the person returns to their permanent role. Another temporary assignment is employee exchange. A sabbatical is an example of a temporary assignment, a leave of absence from the company to renew or develop skills. Employee on sabbatical are frequently paid in full and enjoy all perks. Employee well-being is being improved through sabbaticals, which reduces stress, burnout, while also assisting employees in acquiring new skills and views. Sabbaticals can give employees more time to pursue personal interests, such as publishing a book or spending more time with their family. Sabbaticals are widespread in a wide range of industries, from consulting firms to fast food restaurants. Despite the benefits, people are hesitant to take sabbaticals for fear of jeopardizing their jobs. As a result, businesses are providing brief sabbaticals. Volunteer work or volunteer assignments can also be used for professional growth. Employees who serve their local community and its members are referred to as volunteers. Volunteer assignments may provide individuals with opportunity to manage, teach, have a high level of responsibility, and be exposed to other job demands listed in Table 9.7, which is already shown earlier. How to match job experiences to employees' development needs and goals. Job experiences are used for professional development in businesses of all sizes, but their nature and availability vary. Smaller businesses may not have the same type or amount of growth opportunities as larger corporations, but they can encourage employees to gain relevant experience outside of the workplace. Table 9.9 indicates which employment experiences are best suited to various sorts of employee development requirements or goals. And I have already discussed this earlier. The job experience, job enlargement, job rotation or transfer, etc. Interpersonal relationships. Interacting with a more experienced organization member can also help employees improve skills and expand their knowledge of the company and its clients. Mentoring and coaching are two interpersonal relationships used to grow employees. Mentoring. A mentor is a more experienced and productive senior employee who assists in the development of a less experienced employees or trainees. Some companies have launched and promoted group and peer mentoring because of a scarcity of suitable mentors and recognition that employees can benefit from interactions with peers and colleagues. In a group or peer mentoring programs, a successful senior employee is paired with a group of 4 to 6 less experienced employees or trainees. One possible benefit of peer mentorship is that trainees are encouraged to learn from one another as well as from a more experienced senior employee. Furthermore, group mentoring recognizes that it is difficult for a single mentor to offer an employee with all of the counsel and support he or she requires. Group mentoring provides an employee development network, a small group that an employee may rely on for mentoring support, as well as to take an interest on his or her learning and development. The mentor assists trainees in understanding the company, guiding them in analyzing their experiences, and assisting them in clarifying career paths. Each group member may accomplish individual duties, or the group may collaborate on a problem or issue. We have here Table 9.10 named examples of mentoring programs, which shows how businesses are utilizing formal mentoring programs. Mentoring programs serve several essential goals, includes socializing new employees, training managers, and giving opportunities for women and minorities to share experiences and obtain the exposure and skills needed to advance to management roles. Developing successful mentoring programs. One significant advantage of formalized mentoring program is that they ensure all employees, regardless of their gender or ethnicity, have access to mentors. Another benefit is that participants in the mentoring relationship understand what is expected from them. One disadvantage of formal mentoring programs is that mentors may be unable to provide counseling and coaching in an artificially manufactured connection. To overcome this, mentors and employees should spend time discussing their work styles, personalities, and backgrounds, which helps create trust required for both sides to be comfortable with their connection. Table 9.11 shows the characteristics of successful formal mentoring program. Mentors should be selected based on their interpersonal and technical abilities. They must also be trained. Tools and support are required for mentors, trainees, and the firm to get the most out of mentoring. Benefits of mentoring relationships. A mentoring relationship can benefit both mentors and trainees. According to research, mentors provide their trainees with career and emotional support. Coaching, protection, sponsorship, and offering hard assignments, exposure, and visibility are all examples of career support. Serving as a buddy and role model, providing positive regard and acceptance, and providing an outlet for the trainees to discuss anxieties and fear are all examples of psychosocial support. Larger rates of advancement, higher compensation, and greater organizational influence are also advantages for the trainees. Mentoring connections allow mentors to hone their interpersonal skills while also increasing their sense of self-esteem and worth to the business. Individuals in technical disciplines such as engineering or healthcare may benefit from the trainees' understanding of key new scientific breakthrough in their field and so avoid becoming technically obsolete. Mentors can also benefit from trainees' assistance in learning and understanding the demands and motivations of younger employees. This is particularly true in reverse mentorship programs. Mentorship in which younger individuals mentor more senior personnel is referred to as reverse mentoring. Coaching. A coach is a peer or manager who works with the employees to motivate them, assist them in skill development, and provide reinforcement and feedback. A coach can fill one of the three roles. Coaches are utilized for a variety of purposes, including training high potential managers, acting as a sounding board for managers, and explicitly attempting to address behaviors that are making managers unproductive. Coaching may include one-on-one sessions with employees, such as giving feedback. Another responsibility is to assist staff in learning on their own. This includes assisting them in locating specialists who can help them with their concerns and training them how to solicit feedback from others. And coaching may entail giving resources like as mentors, classes, or job experiences that employees may not have access to without the coach's assistance. The best coaches are empathic, helpful, realistic, and self-assured, but they do not appear to have all the answers or to want to tell others what to do. Employees who will be coached must be open-minded and engaged rather than defensive, close-minded, or concerned about their reputation. In the connection, both the coach and the employee to be mentored take risk. Coaches use their knowledge and experiences to assist employees, and employees expose themselves by openly discussing their flaws. To build coaching skill, training programs must address four concerns connected to managers' reluctance to provide coaching. First, managers may be hesitant to discuss performance difficulties even with a skilled employee in order to avoid conflict. This is especially problematic when the manager is less knowledgeable than the employee. Second, supervisors may be better at identifying performance issues than assisting people in resolving them. Third, managers may believe that the employee sees coaching as criticism. Fourth, as organizations downsize and employ fewer people, managers may believe there isn't enough time for mentoring. Special topics in employee development: succession planning, developing dysfunctional managers, and onboarding. Succession planning is the process of finding, analyzing, developing, and tracking high potential individuals who are capable of transitioning into new positions in the firm as a result of planned or unforeseen job openings due to attrition, promotion, or business growth. Succession planning is frequently mentioned when contemplating a company's managers, or senior leaders, but it is an important consideration for any employment. Succession planning benefits firms in a variety of ways. It identifies and prepares future corporate leaders, assisting in keeping the organization running smoothly, and when key employees and managers depart, it creates possibilities for advancement and promotion. It provides a series of development experiences that managers must complete in order to be considered for top management positions. This prevents managers who are not ready to take leadership roles from being promoted too soon. Succession planning also helps to recruit and keep managerial staff by providing them with developmental opportunities that they may fulfill if upper management is a career objective for them. Succession planning frequently focuses on high potential personnel. High potential employees are individuals whom the firm believes have the potential to succeed in higher level managerial positions such as general manager of a strategic business unit, functional director such as director of marketing, or CEO. Individual development programs for high potential employees often include education, executive mentorship and coaching, and rotation through job assignments. Job assignments are based on the successful career paths of the managers who will be replaced by the high potential employees. Special duties such as presenting speeches and working on committees and task groups may be given to a high potential personnel. Despite the necessity of succession planning, many businesses fail to do it successfully. Dissatisfaction with succession planning may stem from a tendency to only focus on managers at the vice president level or above. Failing to identify successors because they do not want to risk potential leaders leaving the company because they are discouraged and disappointed, and a short-term focus on succession planning only when vacancies occurs rather than a long-term process designed to develop bench strength. Bench strength refers to having a pool of talented personnel who are ready to go when needed. Table 9.12 shows the process used to develop a succession plan. The first step is to determine which positions will be covered by the succession plan, such as all management positions or simply particular levels of management. The second step is to determine which personnel are included in the succession planning system. The third step is the organization must establish how positions will be evaluated. The fourth step is the organization should choose how employees' potential will be measured. In that instance, will the employee's current job performance as well as potential ratings be used? Will employees' job interests or career objectives be taken into account? Fifth step is a review process for succession planning must be devised. Employees, managers, and human resources are typically involved in succession planning reviews first. A talent review could also involve an overall assessment of the company's leadership skills, the identification of high potential personnel based on their performance and potential, and the discussion of efforts to keep important managers from departing. Sixth step is succession planning is influenced by other HR systems such as salary, training and development, and staffing. Incentives and bonuses could be tied to the completion of development possibilities. Training classes, work experiences, mentors, and a 360-degree feedback can all be used to suit growth goals. Companies must make decisions. For example, will they fill an available management post internally with a less experienced employee who will progress in the role over time? Or will they hire a manager from the outside company who can give results immediately? Seventh step is that employees should be given feedback on potential future moves, expected career trajectories, and growth goals and experiences. Eighth and last step is that the succession planning process must be assessed. This includes selecting and assessing relevant results outcomes, such as reduced time to fill manager's position and increased usage of internal promotions, as well as collecting measures of employee and management satisfaction with the process, assessing and making development plans using the 9-box grid. Many companies undertake succession planning reviews using a 9-box grid. The 9-box grid is a 3x3 matrix used by groups of managers and executives to compare personnel with one department, function, division, or the entire organization. This is the example of the 9-box grid, and the 9-box grid is used for talent analysis and discussion to assist establish successful development plans and activities, and to identify outstanding people who can be groomed for top-level management roles in the firm. As indicated in figure 9.5, one axis of the matrix is based on an evaluation of work performance. The other axes are usually characterized as potential or promotability. Employee development plans are influenced by the manager's evaluation or performance and potential. Issues in succession planning. One critical issue in succession planning is determining whether or not to inform employees if they are on or off the list of potential candidates for higher level manager jobs. There are various benefits and drawbacks that businesses must consider. One advantage of making succession planning lists public or informing employees who are on it is that they are more inclined to stay with the company since they know that they will have a new career option. Another advantage is that high potential individuals who are not interested in other positions can express their preferences. This allows the organization to avoid investing costly developmental resources in them while also providing a more realistic picture of its high potential managerial personnel. The downsides of identifying high potential individuals are that those who are not on the list may feel disheartened and leave the organization, or changes in business strategy or employee performance may cause them to be removed off the list. Employees may also consider that they have not been given a fair chance to be in the leadership position, or if they are aware that a list of probable candidates has already been established. One strategy to prevent these issues is to inform employees that they are on the list, but not to mention the particular position that they will most likely achieve. Another suggestion is to go over the list of candidates on a regular basis and express intentions and expectations clearly. The organization uses interviews to evaluate whether individuals on the succession list are interested in and qualified for leadership positions. Helping manager with dysfunctional behaviors. Several studies have highlighted managerial habits that can turn an otherwise competent manager into a toxic or ineffective boss. These behaviors include insensitivity and aggression towards others, unwillingness to work as a part of a team, hubris, poor conflict management skills, difficulty to fulfill corporate objectives, and inability to change or adapt during a transition. An individual coaching for effectiveness, or ICE program, is one example of a program intended expressly to assist managers with dysfunctional behavior. According to research, managers who participate in these programs enhance their skills and are likely to be fired. The ICE program involves activities such as diagnosis, coaching, and support. The curriculum is tailored to the needs of the management. All phases of the ICE are staffed by clinical, counseling, or industrial organizational psychologists. They do the diagnosis, coach, and counsel the manager, and create action plans for integrating new skills on the job. First step in the ICE program is diagnosis, which entails gathering information on the manager's personality, talents, and interests. Interviews with the manager, as well as interviews with the manager's supervisor and co-workers, as well as psychological tests. These are used to assess whether the manager is capable of changing the dysfunctional behavior or not. During the program coaching phase, the manager is initially given information on the intended skill or behavior. This material could be about principles of effective communication or teamwork, workplace tolerance of individual differences, or ways of holding effective meetings. The manager will next take part in behavior modeling training as the second step. The manager also receives a psychological treatment to help him overcome beliefs that may be impeding his ability to learn the desired behavior. Onboarding, also known as socializing, is the process of assisting new workers in adjusting to the social and performance aspects of their new roles. This is critical for assisting people in adjusting to their employment by creating relationships to promote satisfaction, clarifying goals and expectations to promote performance, and offering feedback, coaching, and follow-up activities to prevent turnover. The types of onboarding programs used by businesses vary greatly. Effective onboarding, on the other hand, entails the four processes depicted in Figure 9.6. Understanding tedious chores, such as completing tax forms and knowing how to submit timesheets or trip reimbursement forms, is essential for effective onboarding. However, it extends beyond compliance to include boosting new hires' self-confidence, making them feel socially comfortable and accepted by their peers and managers, helping them understand their role and job expectations, responsibilities, and performance requirements, and assisting them into fitting into the company and understanding the company culture. Many significant outcomes for the person and the company are associated with effective onboarding, including increased job satisfaction, organizational commitment, fewer turnover, higher performance, less stress, and career effectiveness. Table 9.13 shows the characteristics of effective onboarding programs. Onboarding programs that are effective aggressively include the new employee. Several companies provide onboarding programs that includes the feature listed in this table. To improve the success of their process, onboarding programs incorporate both face-to-face and online activities. The new program, which lasts a year, is divided into 3 periods of learning activities and events. The first phase is Engage, which is intended to motivate and prepare new hires for the first year on the job. The duration of Engage is 2 to 3 weeks. It comprises learning activities in which new hires are actively involved in working in cross-functional teams with members from various offices and levels. New employees can utilize their laptop computers to research internet resources for career planning and development. Teams of 3 new hires compete in a year-long simulated client project. They have access to one experienced employee who can share thoughts and examples of how they have worked with clients in the past. In addition, senior company leaders provide welcoming greetings and facilitate talks about how to achieve at the organization. The second phase of onboarding program is Equip. This begins in the new hire's second week and lasts for 6 months. Equip equips employees with the skill, behaviors, and tools they need to succeed at work. It consists of 30, 60, and 90-day meetings with their managers, a series of e-newsletters, and a comprehensive onboarding tool package meant to reinforce and build on what they learned in the first part of the program. Excel is the third and final phase, and it focuses on professional development, relationship building, and adoption of the company's principles. Excel covers the 7-month period from the beginning of the new hire's first year of employment to the end of the first year. At the end of Excel, the employees receive their first annual performance assessment. Aside from the 3 phases, new hires have access to and are encouraged to use the company's social media and knowledge management tool. It is known as the onboarding community to discover and share information via blogs, as well as participate in online activities and resources that support the onboarding program. That's all. Thank you.